Well, friends, in the search for Jack and Lilly Sullivan, I do believe I found the case's biggest asshole. And that would be this fool on your screen right now. Now, not the one from the state-sponsored CBC, the state-sponsored media who's been proven to lie to you time and time again. But here we go with two idiots talking about how it's wrong to speculate online and it's wrong to get paid by advertisers for creating content that people want to watch that asks relevant questions in a situation like this. In the case of a missing child or children in this circumstance, you don't want silence. You want people to talk, unless you're on the CBC. You wonder how things get overlooked. The last thing that these idiots want to do is be second guessed. And this fool on your screen right now is just an idiot. So we're going to listen to it quickly before we get into it. They've got a $150,000 reward for any information right now. Never usually works, by the way. So they tell you all not to do any speculating, and it's just wrong how all of these people out there that aren't state-sponsored media are making money. This fool, do you think... Listen, man, ain't nobody watching the CBC. Nobody watches the CBC. Maybe a bunch of boomers.
Offered for information. What impact do you think that's going to have on getting tips in?
It could have significant impact. Obviously, if things have gone awry here, which it appears they have, and if there is criminal involvement, that's quite a bit of money. And so maybe somebody's loose lips.
The warden of Pictou County, what straw did you draw to pull this job? This guy's a freaking idiot. Oh, it may have significant. Oh, geez. Thank you so much. No, it's not going to have any effect on the case. I'll tell you that right now. It never does, and I'm pretty sure that you're not going to. If it did, you're going to find some reason not to pay that out and still use the tips.
Will loosen a little. We hope so, because this does not deserve to be handled in the way it's being handled.
It has been weeks now since these two little kids disappeared. How's the community doing?
Frustrated, I would put at the top of the list, and sort of on edge. Everybody wants to find out what happened, I guess is what I'm hearing most people say, and they're frustrated by not getting some answers, and not blaming anyone, but clearly frustrated and almost afraid to hear the news. They're almost afraid to turn the news on in case it's what they don't want to hear. Although I think most people are prepared maybe now for that.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. So when you have a case like this that
most people don't want to turn on the news because it's garbage.
Drags on for a long time. I'm sure, I think you and I talked about this weeks ago, lots of rumors in the community, and those rumors can be pretty corrosive. And so how's the community dealing with that, about the rumors about what may have happened?
Oh my God, this is the worst fucking thing. Well, obviously something happened. People will be getting blamed and we'll be doing a whole lot of it. And they want to talk about how it's just the worst thing. Oh, all you zipper heads out there are going to mimic the CBC. Get out of here. We're far ahead of you.
I think most people would rather not have the rumors out there, to wait and let the RCMP do their job and, then deal with whatever comes out of that investigation. But unfortunately, we can't control people's emotions and people's thoughts. And
actually, this guy's really in the wood. Yeah, we can control people's emotions and people's thoughts directly. We can induce. We can do all kinds of things.
It's one thing to talk about it in private, what you or somebody else thinks might have happened, but not to put it on public. And I've even been told that some people are making money off of this, which is a real tragedy, too.
Yeah. Talk about a communist. This guy doesn't want anybody making money, let alone advertising money. We love advertising money around here. We're going to advertise all over this guy's face. The warden of Pictou County. What an embarrassment. What a shitstorm.
By leaning on the story of little Jack and little Lilly to pick up an audience that then advertisers will pay them for.
You know, while you were talking, giving that...
Yeah, all of a sudden, it's everybody talking about the case that's bringing all kinds of wrongdoing about it. Oh, you guys shouldn't be talking about it. We're going to pimp this bitch. Is that what you're insinuating? All the tragedy pimps out there? No, friends, don't let fools like this try to convince you to be silent, especially when kids get gone.
Last answer, we were seeing some pictures of the search, and we saw a drone and police officers, search and rescue officials. A lot of time and effort and person power has been spent on searching, especially the woodsy area near the house. And as far as I know, virtually nothing has turned up. You know the area.
Well, don't start speculating. You don't want any rumors to start out there, fools. Here they are doing exactly what it is they're telling everybody else not to do, to discourage anything about it all. And then they start talking about it in such an unrealistic manner, as though they're lost in the woods, like this is Hansel and Gretel in some sort of fairy tale. Okay? Hey, dummy. Do you know what happens to kids in situations like this? The same things.
Do you think there's a possibility that these kids wandered in those woods, or do you figure they must be somewhere else?
Well, there's always a possibility, and the RCMP seem pretty well stuck on the fact that they're in that woods. And
no, they're not. No, they're not. This idiot's up here talking about how the RCMP think that they're in the woods. In fact, I don't think they are. I don't think the RCMP are. And if they are stuck on that thought, they're not doing their fucking jobs.
if we keep looking, we'll find them. And I hope maybe they're right. But the woods is terribly rough terrain there. After Hurricane or Tropical Storm Fiona went through, everything is crisscrossed in there, and there is a chance.
Oh, there is a chance. What do you think? They're in there alive since May 1st? A 4 and a 6-year-old living off roots and all kinds of what? Little sprouts in the springtime? Nova Scotia pine needles? This guy has probably got a whole basement filled with kids in cages. This guy is probably a member of the Catholic Church. I wouldn't trust this son of a bitch who's talking about this case so unrealistically. Oh, how dare all you people out there make any money? Give him your money. What a fucking idiot this guy is.
Chance that little ones could crawl in under a big spruce tree root and be well hidden from anybody that walked by. So there's always a chance, but an awful lot of people have gone through there looking, and professional searchers and haven't.
What about you, asshole?
Haven't found anything. So I think the general public is thinking that there's something different here than lost in the woods.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating for people there. When you heard the news out of Quebec, now we're talking 3 to 4 days as opposed.
Why is this guy even up here speculating? Why is he even talking about the case? Are you even following it, douche? What an idiot.
To 6 or 7 weeks, but of the 3-year-old who was found
here, but they are very different situations for sure. But there was sort of a peak in hope, and there still is hope. There's always hope until we find out.
Why would one case completely different from another bring you hope in this particular case? Talk about a master of saying nothing. Hey, warden of Pictou County, you need a kick in the testicles. Not only for having that stupid clock on your fucking wall, but for your idiotic opinions. And you should be ripped out of any sort of control in Pictou County and put somebody in there with some sort of native heritage.
Otherwise, but I think the only hope left for our little ones is if somebody did abduct them, and hopefully somebody who was doing that for a loving cause and not otherwise, that perhaps they could still be safe somewhere maybe far away from here. I think that's in the back of a lot of people's minds, is not maybe the most likely possibility, but still a possibility, and people are hanging on that. When they saw little Claire, I think that raised...
Well, asshole, they're Robert Parker, you douchebag. There's all kinds of reports, including from Daniel, that old Malaya Brooks Murray put those kids into a car at the end of the driveway herself before she came back to bed that morning. That's flying all over the place. And I bet you that there's a lot of truth to that statement. Do you know why? Because it came from Daniel. This guy is such a maroon. I can't wait to get him off my screen. Yeah, this figures. I was going to leave CBC a nice message telling him how much of a douchebag this Robert Parker is, never to have him on the show again because he's a complete contradictory fool who has no idea what he's talking about. They turned the comments off. Oh, can't have comments on this one. CBC is such a joke, dude. Defund it. Burn it to the ground. National embarrassment. So a little analysis of something we haven't talked about yet, which is the interview of the paternal grandmother. This is Cody's mum. So Jack and Lily's biological father's mother or grandmother. Now I have something prepared here. The CBC interview with the paternal grandmother of Lilly Sullivan 6 and Jack Sullivan 4, who disappeared from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, on May 2nd, 2025, provides a perspective from the biological father's side of the family. The grandmother, whose son Cody Sullivan is the children's father, shares her emotional response to the disappearance, her observations during the search, and her interactions with the RCMP. This analysis identifies key points in the interview that might cast suspicion on Malaya Brooks Murray, referred to as Malaya in the interview, the children's mother, and proposes questions to further the investigation, while cross-referencing details from the previously provided Daniel Martel interview and avoiding reliance on the unverified Dolly Vision video claims. Well, the Dolly Vision video claims is Daniel Martel. So Daniel Martel is the source of all of the rumors that this guy is so upset about. Oh, how dare you get online and talk about it publicly? It's just not proper. How dare... What? Shut up, cracker! Shut your mouth! Now. So the grandmother begins by expressing profound belief that Lily and Jack are no longer alive. That's more rumors. Stating, "My heart tells me these babies are gone." She clarifies her son, Cody Sullivan, has no criminal record, has not been out west, and has been living with her for 9 months, countering potential rumors about his involvement. She recounts learning of the children's disappearance through a call from her grandson's mother, followed by a Facebook article, and texting Brooks Murray to confirm the news, which left her in panic shock, but initially hopeful that they would be found. Now, in my opinion, the way that Malaya contacted Grandma here is a bit odd. She just didn't talk to her, didn't let her know. She just sent her an article from Facebook. That's kind of easy, isn't it? Here, just read this article. That way I don't have to explain everything to you. You think that in a desperate situation that you would be sending personalized messages out, especially to come help. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about that. The RCMP visited her house at 3 to 3:30 a.m. of all times. The following morning, the RCMP visited her home at 3 to 3:30 a.m. Could you guys not do anything during normal work hours? The following morning to question Cody about the last time he saw the children and to ensure they were not at her residence. So they showed up. They surprised her in the middle of the night as a tactic. That tells you that the cops have no clue. But who knows? That doesn't tell you that, I guess, but that's kind of shady. The grandmother and her family joined the search on Saturday, consulting Malaya Brooks Murray about the children's usual play areas, which she identified as the little woods near the house. However, after combing through dense, obstacle-filled woods, the grandmother concluded the children were not there, citing the impracticality of young children navigating such terrain. Well, it's contrary to what the warden of Pictou County thinks. He thinks that they're probably out there in the woods, and he's trying to tell you that so did the RCMP. What a fucking idiot. That guy just pisses me right off. God, I've got to go clean myself after that interview. What an idiot. What an effing idiot. I'd fire that son of a bitch so fast. I would hire him just to fire him. I'm so upset at him. She describes Brooks Murray's demeanor as non-emotional, flat, and monotone during their interactions, attributing this to the shock or her naturally soft-spoken nature. However, she notes a shift in her perception of Brooks Murray after observing the unkempt condition of the house, which contrasted with Brooks Murray previously clean and organized persona. The grandmother praises, there's only so much you can do at that place, all right? It's a trailer. What did you want? What the hell do you want? The Hyatt Regency? Now, the grandmother praises Brooks Murray's past parenting, describing her as an excellent mom who never raised her voice but expresses doubt due to the home state. There's all kinds of people living there too. I don't really hold that over her. But maybe it is a factor. It couldn't be a factor when you're looking at all things together. The grandmother shares fond memories of Lilly, her little princess, and Jack, a serious child, and details Cody and Brooke Murray's 3.5-year relationship, which ended when Malaya Brooks Murray sought sole custody after expressing unhappiness. Despite the separation, Malaya maintained a positive relationship with the grandmother, frequently bringing the children for visits until about 21 months before the disappearance. The RCMP formally questioned the grandmother and Cody 3 weeks after the disappearance, with Cody feeling accused despite not seeing the children in 3 years. That's a key important detail there. The police later informed Cody that they were no longer focusing on him. The grandmother remains convinced the children were harmed, not lost in the woods, stating somebody hurt these kids, and laments the lack of justice for such pure and innocent children. Oh, don't let the warden hear you say that. So there's some key points casting suspicion on Malaya Brooks Murray, but I'm going to wait for just a moment. Let's listen.
I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malaya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around 3 between 3 and 3:30 in the morning, a couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up. That I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lily and Jack. We always call Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out and I went in to see Malaya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very, very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malaya's very soft-spoken anyway, that she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her kid or her voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there, because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him, and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's gonna leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
1.5 years, almost, really, it's about 1 year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody, and when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lily and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for an hour and a half in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected, I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it, that he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning.
So, a contributing factor, and we don't know all the details, but to remove Cody from the kid's life by battling for sole custody, I mean, I'm interested to know the dynamics in the relationship at that time, because why would you do that? Now you're alienating the father. The kids are going to suffer. It's not like you can just replace that type of bond. So maybe that's an early set point to maybe Malaya going that extra mile to try to put herself in a perfect situation in her own mind, and finding out later that she's made a mistake, and it compounds, and she's in this cycle of putting more responsibility on herself, and it's not doing her mental health any justice.
What she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact, and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
Well, I hope you don't let the warden of Pictou County hear you say that, because he's going to have to put you on notice. How dare you come up here and start rumors like this? How dare you come in front of the CBC and be honest? Did you not read the script? See these mixed messages that come forth? It's so annoying. Refuse to be silenced by a bunch of zipperhead know-nothings that end up wanting just to cover up their own tracks and have you pretend, everything's perfect in an unperfect world. We're so brainwashed by these fools. Refuse to be silenced.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods.
This is the most rational interview in this case yet. Thank you very much, Grandma or Mom Cody's mom. I don't know her name, actually. Grandma, we'll call her. Thank you very much, Grandma. This is a fantastic interview. Unfortunately, you had to go through it.
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
So I'm going to go try to dig up yesterday's comment. You notice this video, what's his name? Joseph Morris. I see this up here. It's got 80,000 subs. It says Bombshell, Lilly and Jack's mother put them in a vehicle and she's on the run, end quote. Now, We're not reporting on that as a fact, but as far as the public goes, this is the major right now. It's going to be a rumor. Pretty soon it's going to be fact as soon as it's substantiated. They're warden of Pictou County. God darn it. He pisses me off. So the word on the street is, now let's get this clear. This came from Daniel. All right. Yesterday on Dolly Vision's interview. Didn't come from over the CBC. It didn't come from anything like that. Daniel is the one who brought up this key point, and that is the time between 6:16 and 6:18 when she called the children in that Friday sick for school. That essentially she put them in a car at the end of the driveway. She was up to meet third parties arranged for by her. And Daniel really has no idea about it. It was all done behind Daniel's back. Let's see if I can't find this. Hold on. I'm going from memory. I got to do better than my memory for you. Hold on. All right, this is going out to the mayor of Pictou County. Listen to the first minute of this, and I'm going to break this down to you. This is from Joseph Morris. I've never heard of him before. But the first minute of this, the video is titled Bombshell, Lilly and Jack's Mother Put Them in a Vehicle and on the Run, end quote.
Those kids are alive, and that's a big if because it's been a long time, but I still believe there's a very good chance they are. Mm-hmm. If those kids are still alive, and if they're where I think they are, if you, to the God idiots that are still holding on to those kids, I want to say this. If you panic, we're zeroing in on you, and you know it. The last couple of days, they know we're zeroing in on them. And if you panic and hurt those kids, thinking that you're going to hurt them and get rid of them and not get nailed, you're wrong. Because we're already very close to having you. Bring those kids to the light of day.
After Jack and Lily Sullivan's relative.
So you're saying that this is Jack and Lily Sullivan's relative. Could this be some sort of initiation? A prearranged idea in order to traffic kids into a less than savory environment? I'm trying to figure that out. Hold on, let me read this analysis. I'll be right back. Man, this is a hardcore East Coast Canadian in this sense. Get a load of this. So Jack and Lily hold on, I've got to go to the right spot here. So this video discussing the disappearance of two children, Jack and Lily Sullivan, from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia on May 2nd, 2025, focuses heavily on speculation and claims by a relative named Darwood Ogrady and the children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, regarding the role of the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, in the case. Here's an analysis of the key points related to the claims that Malaya put the kids in a car and is now on the run. So the claim is Malaya put the kids in the car. Source of this claim, Darwood Ogrady, a relative from Malaya's side of the family, but connected to Daniel Martel through work, asserts that Malaya orchestrated the removal of Jack and Lily from the home. He claims she dressed the children and took them to the roadside, where they were put into a vehicle. Darwood states he's about 80% sure he knows who was driving the vehicle and is very, very close to being 100% sure about who transported the children. That's at timestamp 541 of that video. Supporting details. Fuck, is this interesting or what? Oh my God. Oh my God. This is so interesting. This is so tantalizing. How can this not be true? You hear that? Warden of Pictou County? Put that on your show, Ian Hannah Mansing. Let's see here. Darwood suggests that Malaya's actions were motivated by a strained relationship with Daniel Martel, citing arguments and her complaints to family members about wanting to leave. Timestamp 428. Second point, he speculates that Malaya took advantage of a moment when Daniel was asleep and Janie, Daniel's mother, was not expected to be home to execute this plan. Interesting. That's at timestamp 750. Darwood, friends, I'll leave this link to the video in the comments section of this video where you can find it easy enough. Darwood recounts an incident where Janie, Daniel's mother, unexpectedly encountered Malaya on the roadside, catching her off guard and causing her to appear stunned and guilty. That's a timestamp 714. Let me reread that. Darwood recounts an incident where Janie, Daniel's mother, unexpectedly encountered Malaya on the roadside, catching her off guard and causing her to appear stunned and guilty. He believes Janie narrowly missed witnessing the children being transferred to a vehicle. What? So what he's saying is that incident, the kids were probably in the vehicle. Or was she? No. I'm confused. Anyway, he mentions that the scent of the children, tracked by police dogs, ended at the driveway, which he interprets as evidence they were driven away. Now, Darwood admits this is speculative, and he cannot prove it. He suggests that family members may have acted on Malaya's complaints, believing they were helping her. But the situation escalated quickly when the RCMP began their investigation. Well, she's the one that brought them in quick. There is no direct evidence provided. I can't, for the life of me, figure out why she called the RCMP and reported these kids missing. Believing they were... let me read this for you. He suggests that family members may have acted on Malaya's complaints, believing they were helping her, but the situation escalated quickly when the RCMP began their investigation. There is no direct evidence provided in this transcript to confirm that Malaya placed the children in a vehicle, and Darwood's claims rely on his interpretation of events and conversations. External corroboration. The transcripts references a Facebook chat where Daniel Martel supports the idea that the children's scent trail ended at the driveway, aligning with Darwood's theory. However, no official RCMP statements in the provided web results confirm this specific claim about a vehicle's transfer. The RCMP has stated there is no evidence of abduction, and the investigation assumes the children wandered off. That's the assumption. That's what they were called with on 911, but we know, I don't think they're... Anyway, you have to put that there. So, claim Malaya is on the run. The source of this claim, Daniel Martel, the children's stepfather, and Darwood Ogrady, both assert that Malaya has fled with her 1-year-old daughter, Meadow, and is on the run from the RCMP. This is Echo. She's on the run. She's like the Midnight Rider. There's going to be songs written about her now. Let's see. This is echoed in Daniel's alleged YouTube live stream messages where he states she has Meadow and is on the run. Malaya is on the run from the RCMP, end quote. And she's terrified investigators are close, end quote. Timestamp 912. Darwood claims Malaya fled her mother's home in Wentworth, Nova Scotia after learning he was onto her. Wentworth. Oh shit, he's hot on the run. He's on her tail, supporting details. Darwood states that Malaya was staying... Oh, fuck, this is so juicy. Darwood states that Malaya was staying at her mother Cindy Murray's house in Wentworth under 24-hour supervision by Child Protective Services and the RCMP, but fled with Meadow after an altercation with her mother. He suggests Malaya went to the what is that word? Oh, the Shubenacadie Reserve, another native reserve. Let me copy that and go see where that is on Google Earth. Just a sec. Possibly seek legal protection from her lawyer connected to the reserve's chief. Darwood speculates she panicked after he intentionally allowed someone he suspected of involvement to overhear him mention a name, which he believes prompted her to flee within half an hour. The Shubenacadie Reserve. We'll do that in a second. Let's finish reading this. Daniel's YouTube message indicates he believes Malaya knows everything about the children's whereabouts and fled because she was afraid of cracking under pressure from him or investigators. That makes sense. The transcript notes Malaya's mother, Cindy Murray, told reporters the RCMP advised against media interactions. And rumors, by the way. But a CBC report clarified this was only a recommendation to be cautious about shared information, not a ban. Just be cautious. Just be careful, friends. Thank God I love this guy, Darwood Ogrady. He's my man. Context and speculation. The claim that Malaya is on the run is based on unverified statements from Darwood and Daniel. Darwood's account relies on hearsay from family members and his own strategic eavesdropping ploy, which he admits is not fully substantiated. Daniel's YouTube messages are presented as coming from a confirmed account, but their authenticity cannot be independently verified from the transcript or web results, of course, because it's just happening now. We're way ahead of the curve. The RCMP has not publicly confirmed that Malaya is a fugitive or has fled with Meadow. Listen, forget those guys. We know what's going on here, don't we there, warden of Pictou County? Let's go. External corroboration. Web results confirm that Malaya's left the home in Lansdowne the day after the children were reported missing and has been staying with her mother in Wentworth. There is no official mention of her fleeing the Shubenacadie, we'll call that the other Indian Reserve, or being actively pursued by the RCMP as a fugitive. Posts on X echo these claims. Okay. Wow. That's fantastic. What are we getting at? What's the time? 42 minutes. I got to shut this down. Friends, thank you very much. I'm going to have a part 2 to this. I'll come back. I'm going to get my hair cut anyway. Tell me in the comment section below what the hell you're thinking about this. Has your opinion evolved any? What are you thinking about Darwood Ogrady's statements here? Peace.